Soon after that, we got the most devastating statement from the Venezuelan government, which was Vice President Delcy Rodriguez saying that indeed President Maduro had been kidnapped alongside his wife, Celia Flores. And I think it's very important that we emphasize this part. President Nicolas Maduro, an elected constitutional president, was kidnapped by US forces. He was not captured, he was not arrested. No, he was
Removed.
exactly
Right.
none of that, none of that. We all know that the United States has built this fantasy narrative that the Venezuelan government is somehow behind this huge narco trafficking organization, with absolutely no proof about that, no evidence about that. They have been using that narrative to kill civilian people on small boats in the Caribbean for 4 months, and now they're using the same narrative to kidnap a elected president and to bomb civilian populations in Venezuela.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to the political support group because we all need one. And I just wanted to start off with this clip. I'm not going to play the whole thing because all the credit goes to the Katie Halper show. Please subscribe to her. Please follow her. I will leave the link in the description for this video. I just wanted to give this to you because what's happening is not gonna be good. All right. I know that there are things out there, people out there celebrating. You see Venezuelans like, yeah, 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 the fall of Maduro, the fall of Maduro. A lot of them people are from here. They're here, but it is not the way the media is trying to portray. Okay, Venezuela, Venezuela is similar to us now. Okay, most of us don't like Trump anymore. Okay, and some of them, there's a lot of them that still, are for him, and we are setting a dangerous precedent. Okay, because what if one day another country decides that we have something going on and they need to come in here and steal our president and his wife? Okay, what if Melania and Trump get kidnapped? You know what I'm saying? Think about that. But it is similar to, we are similar to Venezuela in a lot of ways. He was elected. He was elected, okay, by the people to be there, okay? And there are mixed feelings about him, all right? But it gives us no right to go over there and take over Venezuela, okay? Especially because he is using the drugs, okay, as a front, all right, as a front for what he really wants. He's probably wanting to take over Venezuela. He wants all of the resources that they have, and this journalist says the same thing in the video, okay? And, you have to really think about that. In Puerto Rico, we had similar, the United States came, freed us from the Spaniards only to take us over. Okay? And we have been there ever since. We didn't have as many natural resources, but Venezuela does. And you know what? There may be a lot of you that are saying, fine, take it over, right? They might believe the drug narrative. Fine, take it over. We can get all that oil. We have all this money now. The United States is now the richest because we took over all of their oil. They have trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars of worth of oil. But I showed you in the last video that Maduro was ready to have talks and has been having talks with Trump, okay, about negotiating for oil and working on the narco trafficking thing. Now, I don't know how to explain it, but he says that Venezuela fired back. They have not been firing back. You know how many boats we bombed since Trump has come back in office, and he has never shown any sign of aggression. There were tanks in their streets. He didn't show signs of aggression, and he just held his ground. Trump is that bully in school that goes after the little kid that has done nothing to him and then goes beat him up. Now Venezuelans are in the streets trying to find food, water, and all of that. What does that remind you of? It reminds me of Gaza. It reminds me of Gaza. So I do want you to think about that. And I also want Puerto Rico to think about that. I am so worried about Puerto Rico. So worried about Puerto Rico. Because they're caught in the middle of all of this. That's where all the military is. And if anything happens where Putin wants to retaliate to free the Venezuelan president, or whatever you want to call him, he's going to bomb Puerto Rico first. You know, we've been there before. And I am so worried about my people too. You know? And Trump is setting a dangerous precedent to where, you know, any president can do anything he wants without Congress. Republicans, y'all need to do something, because if it were me, I'd be in there fighting against him, because any other president can do the same. You know, oh my God, if a Democratic president is ever elected again, watch out. He may do shit behind Congress' back also. Okay, that socialist stuff that you guys are worried about, the liberal left, and the liberals, we may take over. Don't get it twisted. If people are celebrating, they are not all celebrating. Okay? And Putin is in bed with Maduro. Putin has been doing some dangerous shit. Trump has always been talking about World War III. I think he wants World War III. And China is in the mix with them too. So all of them can be against us. And we need to do something about it. This is very dangerous. We've let him get away with too much. He first started with the little boats. Then now he's invading Venezuela. There are other countries nearby that he probably wants to. You know? And it is not cool. I want to show you this clip real quick. I'm not going to show you everything that she said, but I wanted you to know that they want him back, okay? Hey, folks. All right, real quick. I'm not going to spend all day long on this. I just want to make my point real clear, okay? This sounds like us. You tell me if I'm wrong. Nicolas Maduro is widely considered to be an authoritarian dictator by many international governments, human rights organizations, and political analysts. The United States, the European Union, and the numerous Latin American countries have officially described his government as an illegitimate dictatorship, pointing to electoral fraud, human rights abuses, and systematic dismantling of democratic institutions. Key reasons for his characterization include illegitimate elections. Maduro's 2018 re-election was widely condemned as rigged. Trumpy much? Oh, much too much. With major opposition parties and candidates banned from participating and numerous electoral irregularities reported. The international community largely recognized the head of the National Assembly, Juan Guaido, as the interim illegitimate president from 2019 until Maduro's recent capture. Human rights abuses. Under Maduro's administration, thousands have reportedly been victims of extrajudicial killings, arbitrary arrests, and torture by security forces. His government has used food distribution as a tool for social control and has severely repressed peaceful protests. Dismantling of democracy. Maduro has consolidated power by using a Supreme Court packed with his allies to nullify legislative acts by the opposition-controlled National Assembly and by creating a parallel unelected constituent assembly. This is what we are going through. Next one. Okay. Economic collapse and humanitarian crisis. His rule has overseen the collapse of Venezuela's economy, leading to hyperinflation, severe shortages of basic goods, and the major humanitarian crisis that has forced over 7 million Venezuelans to flee the country. Criminal allegations. The U.S. Department of Justice indicted Maduro in 2020 on charges of narco terrorism and drug trafficking, accusing innocent until proven guilty, of running a vast drug cartel. While his supporters maintain he is a legitimate, democratically elected leader and a defender of socialism against U.S. imperialism, international consensus and evidence from human rights groups consistently point to his authoritarian rule and the erosion of the rule of law in Venezuela. I'm not here to defend Maduro, okay? I'm not a professional on what's going on in Venezuela, okay? But we are going through the same thing. So why can't anybody else come over here and do the same thing to us, okay? And why won't we face retaliation against all of this? You know? We need to do something about this. All right? I just wanted you to think about that. I'm going to read this again with these two clips, but I'm going to flip it around. And you will see. But I'm sure you can do that yourself. Anyway, think about this. I'm so angry about this. He's putting our people, my people, in jeopardy. He wanted the oil. A lot of people are going to say, yeah, we're not rich. All right, nothing comes without consequences. And this has never been us. Stay tuned. But really think about it. I don't care what side of the aisle you are in. You know this is not right. We have problems in the United States. We are in debt. But this is not the way to do it. Okay? Stealing somebody else's lunch money is not cool. Beating up somebody who wasn't even fighting is not cool. Okay? All right, guys. I gotta go to work. Have a blessed day. More to come. All right. Like and subscribe.